Hello, and welcome to She Leads Biotech, the podcast that celebrates women leaders in the bioscience space. I'm your host, Sharon Cox, CEO and Managing Director of CNA International, based right here in New York. And each week I'll be talking to women leaders about their work, their triumphs and challenges, providing invaluable insight into how women can unlock their superpowers and succeed on their own terms. So whether you're navigating your own career path in bioscience or you're passionate about science and innovation, I hope you're empowered and inspired by each episode. My guest today is an absolute powerhouse in the world of women's health. She's raised over $500 million in investment through talking about sex. And today she's demonstrating her product that's an absolute game changer in women's contraception. Please join me in welcoming President and CEO of Evofem, Saundra Pelletier. Hello, Saundra. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you as well.
I see you've come dressed for the part.
Well, I have. This is my Valentine's shirt. Lots of kisses, pink and red, for you and the listeners. But yes, I'm excited to be here.
Oh, bless you. And I've got my pink shawl, but it was so cold in my office when I came in this morning that I had to put something a little bit more. It's almost like a blanket I've got around me at the moment because it's freezing. But hopefully things will warm up soon. So, and we have got a little celebratory drink. I hope you have yours too.
I do. And mine is coming from my sexy champagne bottle, which hopefully we'll talk about more later. But yeah, a toast to you.
We definitely will. There's a toast. I never know how that's going to work on the screen, but we'll get there in the end. And we're set to go.
Yeah.
So where are you based? You're over on the West Coast, is that right?
Yes, I'm in San Diego. I actually grew up in Maine, so I have migrated myself from north to west. But again, I'm in San Diego now.
Okay, all right. I actually love San Diego. I had the opportunity to visit there last year and spend some time at the Bio conference there, and it was very nice. So
It's lovely, by the way. And you know what I love? When you grow up in freezing cold where it's winter 6 months out of the year, it's hard to beat San Diego. It really is.
I have to say, of the places that I've seen since I've been here in the US, San Diego has been by far my favorite. And I actually could see myself moving to San Diego. I think, oh, I could maybe do that, but I don't know that I could afford it just yet. So,
Well, yeah. Like 5 years ago is when I moved here. So I got in a little bit before the prices went bananas. So I was,
right.
yeah.
Well, maybe I'll just pitch up a tent and live on the beach or something and live that
It would
kind
be
of
great.
life.
A lot of
Well,
people do, but yeah.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time out to chat to me today, and I'm so fascinated by your energy. Your every post I see, everything you're involved in, has so much energy and oomph and punch to it. It's have you always been like that?
Yes. I have to tell you, yes. I would be less than honest if I didn't tell you. I think I was born a little bit overactive. I get shot out of a cannon every day, and I just keep up that pace until the end of the day. And I think people are ready for me to slow down a bit, but I'm not there yet. But yes, it's great.
So talk to me about your journey. How did it all start for you?
Yeah. So my journey was interesting. I grew up in a very, very small, very, very rural place where honestly, girls, they didn't really believe they had the same choices that boys had. I went to school for broadcast journalism. I wanted to be a news anchor. Connie Chung, I don't know if you remember her, but she was very famous back then.
Yep.
I was going to replace Connie Chung when she retired. That was my plan. But long story short, I started out, interestingly, in pharma as a sales rep working for a company called Searle. And GD Searle launched the first birth control pill, Enovid, in 1960. And during the interview process, they were interviewing all kinds of other kids. And when I met them, they said, look, you can call on OBGYNs. You're going to be talking about women's health. You're going to get a company card, an expense account, and you could still interview for these broadcast jobs on the side. And I thought, what a good plan. So I say sometimes what you choose chooses you. And I really truthfully, I got the bug for women's health. Calling on OBGYNs and nurse practitioners and midwives and talking about women's health, it spoke to me in a way that I could never shake it. I just didn't ever want to stop doing it ever. And I wanted to understand everything about our bodies, which I didn't ever learn, certainly not in high school. So yeah, I've done every job within pharma. I would tell that. I really have. And I relocated many, many times. But in the end, I always was true to staying in women's health. And that's really what led me to launch a nonprofit for women's health and now run Evofem.
So talk to me about, is it Evofem or Evofem?
Yeah, actually, it can be either, but we say Evofem. But yes, yep.
Evofem. Okay. So talk to me about your work there, because the products that you're working on is incredible, and I have my own thoughts on that. But talk to me about what it is you do and the work that you're involved in.
So we have two products. The first one, I say, besides my one child, my son, Phexxi is my second one. I have a love for Phexxi that is crazy. So we brought to market the first and the only birth control that has no hormones, no systemic activity in the body. It's FDA approved. We did heavy duty clinical trials for safety and efficacy. And it is a product that women use on demand. So think about this, Sharon. Men have had condoms for 150 years. A man can go out with a condom in his pocket. He can protect from getting someone pregnant or a sexually transmitted infection. Women have never had the opportunity to have something they use only when they need it, never when they don't. That's prescription. And so this is what it looks like. It comes in a box of 12 pre-filled applicators. What women do is this is what I love. You can put it in your purse, you can put it in your pocket, and any woman who's used a tampon or any kind of vaginal, administration, it's very, very simple. I'm going to take one out. I'm going to show it to you. So once you open it, this is the applicator. Little pink cap, take off the cap, and it's 5 milliliters. We show this to investors and doctors because, look, women aren't going to use something that leaks out. It's a small amount of product. It's viscous and bioadhesive, okay? It's lubricating, so there's no odor, there's no taste. Women who have any kind of pain with intercourse or vaginal dryness love the lubrication property. You put it in right before sex or any window within an hour. And how it works is amazing. So a normal vaginal pH, your vaginal pH, my vaginal pH is 3.5 to 4.5. That's it. When semen enters, your pH goes up to 7 or 8 and you get pregnant. Same thing happens when pathogens like chlamydia or gonorrhea enter. Our product helps a woman's body just maintain her natural pH, making it inhospitable to semen so they don't get pregnant. And literally, when you're not using Phexxi, it's not in your body. You don't have to worry, oh my goodness, what is a synthetic hormone doing to my ability to get pregnant when I want to? You don't have to worry about the side effects like headaches and weight gain and emotional highs and lows. So it's a really cool, innovative product that empowers women to use something. Women who are breastfeeding don't want hormones in their breast milk. 900,000 women get cancer every year. Most of them should never use a hormone again. But a lot of women say, I don't have sex every day. Why am I taking a medication every single day when I might have sex once a week, or maybe once a month, or maybe once a year, in my case, TMI. So it's an amazing product that makes women feel like they have the power to control their fertility. It's super cool.
Incredible. And that was very much my thing growing up. I went on the pill, just in case, you never know. And but I was forever thinking, this is like taking a headache tablet every day, and I don't even have a headache. And then all the things it kind of does to your body when you're putting these things in. So this is incredible. What stage are you at with this? Is it available on the market?
Yes, so it's approved. It's on the market. You can get it from any of your doctors can prescribe it for you. You can get it through telemedicine, or you can go to our website, Phexxi.com, PHEXXI. And we have providers that will talk to the patients, and then you get sent through our telemedicine platform. So yes, it's available. And typically a prescription is 1 month is 1 box of 12. But if a woman says I have sex more than that, her monthly prescription could be 2 boxes of 12.
We say, lucky you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a repeat prescription.
Yeah. But you know what's so awesome is I can tell you what he said. It's like, so I say to male investors, okay, I say to them, would you ask your son to take a medication every single day of every week, of every month, year after year, if he didn't need it to save his life, if he was going to probably have side effects, and if in the back of his mind, his worry, what is it going to do to his body as he ages? Would you ask your son to do that?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're out of your mind. And I say, well, why do we ask our daughters to? And that's the light bulb, right? That goes off, and they're like,
Yeah.
why do we ask our daughters? You know what I mean? It's almost like you don't think about, right? All of our investors are men. Why would they think about contraceptions? They don't have to use it, right? So if you suggest to them, let me speak to you in a language that you understand, it changes the game. Women, of course, who have had, like to your point, right? I started taking birth control when I was 13 years old, and and you think to yourself, wow. And there are unintended consequences that people never talk about because every product on the market has a synthetic hormone in it. Big Pharma's not going to broadcast, oh my goodness, this is what could go wrong with you. It's like the burning thing where they're like, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it was hard. We got approved during COVID. So you're launching a product when all the offices are closed, right? Our sales reps can't go in and impact the doctors. It was just like, ah. So we're really building traction now. But the product makes a lot of sense for moms, for girls, for couples. And by the way, you know what else I got to tell you? Is that at first, people wondered, would young women use this? I've had so many young women say to me, I use lubrication as part of intimacy. I have my partner put Phexxi in for me. We use it as part of foreplay. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Put that into the marketing aspect as well.
That was good. Young women are like so large and in charge now. They're like, listen, I got this under control, which is amazing.
Yeah. Incredible. And so is it international? Is it just in the US at the moment? I mean, this is, to me, it's just such a game changer. It's, however how many boxes it ticks. I mean, my own daughter had to come off the pill because of the side effects that the estrogen, I think it was, that was having in her body. And she just said, I just can't do this anymore. And then there are so few options for women once you go down that road, right?
Yeah. And by the way, to your point, there are so many young women that have said to us that they had all these emotional highs and lows, right? They said, when I went to college, my mom put me on the pill, right? Because we didn't want to have any, accidents. All of a sudden, I'm crying for no reason. I'm moody. So then they put me on an antidepressant. Well, then I got put on an anti-anxiety. And no one ever thought it was my birth control that was doing this to me because no one ever talked about it, right? What's so crazy is when these young women get off their birth control and they're like, oh my God, it was like a cloud lifted, like, I feel normal again, And so to your point about your daughter, so right now we're only in the US. We are talking to partners to launch outside of the US. There's a lot of people interested, which is awesome. But yes, we want this product to be global. It deserves to be global. Women deserve. And by the way, look, we say, look, if you want to use a different product, women should get choices. We just want to be the choice. If you don't want to put a hormone in your body and you don't want to use something every day, we want to be the product that you turn to. And, we want women to have options, like you just said, right? They need choices. Because by the way, women's choices change when they don't want to get pregnant or they want to space their pregnancies or when they're perimenopausal. And the last thing they want is to get pregnant, but they don't want to put a hormone in their body either,
Yep. Wow. Well, I will be following this. You need someone to go and knock on doors and do the sales repping side. I'm your woman. I'm in.
Okay, so can I be just really, we have one more product. Can I tell you about it? Because I get shamed by my team because they say I treat the other product like my stepchild. By the way, I would never treat my stepchild bad. I wouldn't. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. But so the other product is called Solaset. Okay, you ready for this one? Here's the reason why we wanted it. This product was developed, launched by a different company. They decided that they didn't want to be in women's health. So this is for bacterial vaginosis and trichomoniasis. Okay, both of these women have odor, they have discharge, they have vaginal pain. But right now, they were being asked to take something once or twice a day for 7 to 14 days. This product is one and done. It's a little packet. So it's granules. You put it in pudding, applesauce, yogurt. You mix it in. You eat it. It's done. It's done. It's like, woo! It's like when you have discharge and odor and pain, you don't want to wait 7 to 14 days. You want this handle.
I want it to sort it now.
Want it now. And you know, the sad part is that some women in market research, they had tears in their eyes. They said, we are ashamed to sit on the bus by someone. We're worried of the odor. We're just so like conscientious about it. And this is one and done. So OBGYNs, by the way, doctors, they love this product because they're like, let's give them a silver bullet. Let's kill a fly with a sledgehammer. Why are we going to have them take something for 7 or 14 days? It's crazy. So we just relaunched it at the end of November of last year. So we've had it on the market just for 3 or 4 months, but we're super excited about it because we want women's quality of life to be better. We want them to see Evofem. We want it to be seen as the company that gets it. We're not just putting out any product in a crowded category that's no different than anything else. We're like, look, we want to be seen as the company that brings things to market that are really different, that are going to make your life better.
Well, thank the Lord for you and the work that you do, because I know that you're really, really passionate about women's health. If anybody hasn't picked that up by now, I'm pretty sure they soon will. It's something that I've seen you publish articles on and talk about quite regularly, and the investment in women's health is just it's not there. What's the solution, Saundra? What has to happen? And who do we have to bully to make these things
Well,
happen?
I'll tell you this, just to solidify your point, okay? 1% of research dollars are spent on women-specific issues. 1%. Women are half the population. I mean, what is going on with that? Okay, so instead of crying about the problem, I love your question. What do we have to do differently? Who do we have to bully? What do we have to do? Honestly, I think 2 things. The first thing is women or men who care about women's health, no matter what. I mean, come on, from puberty to menopause, think about how many products women need to kind of help them manage this. So the hardest lesson I learned was changing my narrative, was never assuming people naturally care about women's health. You say to these men, well, a woman gave birth to you. You're married, you have lovers or girlfriends, maybe you have a daughter. I made the assumption that of course men get it. And I had so many no's that I was like, what is happening? Am I losing my mind? And finally I was like, I think I have to fire myself because I clearly am no good at this job because no one will give me $1. Okay, not $1. Okay. And I tried everything. I tried it the tough way. I tried it the girly way. I tried every communication style. So finally, this light bulb went off where I thought, like, with them, what's in it for me? Why do these men need to really care about women's health? And I really changed the narrative. I changed the narrative to talk about sex. I said, you know what? Contraceptive marketing has been fear-based. You don't want to get pregnant. You don't want to get pregnant. Can you imagine trying to have intimacy with a woman who's thinking in her head, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can't relax. This shouldn't be pleasurable. I can't get pregnant. I can't get pregnant. Can you imagine how that would be? Imagine being with a partner that cares about sexual pleasure because she's using a lubricant and her body's not filled up with synthetic hormones. Imagine you've got a little lubrication, you got a little freedom, you got sex on demand. And I literally felt like, I was like, should I be ashamed? Am I like going to be like really punished here? And I'm like, no, I'm not. Men want to talk about sex. The part of the brain that controls instinct is bigger in men, right? We all know that. They're visually motivated sexually. And I was like, hello, dummy. Talk to them about what they want to talk about. So one of the biggest shifts was me being able to figure out, talk to male investors in a way that they will hear me, that they will listen. And it was unorthodox. Particularly, women are trained to be mediators and martyrs and pleasers and good girls. And so then having me talking about sex and pleasure and lubrication, it seemed not only unorthodox, but a little naughty, a little outside of the lines. And it worked, frankly. The ends justifies the means, right? I mean, look, we need the investment in women's health, whatever it takes. So that was a big aha moment.
So that method is that obviously that method of how you approach investors and how you talk to them, because there's so much about women getting investment and their lack of being able to get investment. And I've covered it a number of times on the show, how unfair it is for that women can't get this investment. But somebody like you who has raised over $500 million, what makes you so different?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you here. The one thing that I wish women would believe, and I know they don't believe me, but I tell them repeatedly and repeatedly, please stop trying to be a man. Stop acting like a man. You're not a man. Investors know you're not a man. They know you have a vagina. Even if you don't have a vagina, they think you have a vagina. Stop it right now. Okay? They know women. Okay? You don't have to cry, but you don't have to act like a bitch on wheels. Okay?
Right.
The one thing that I do, I promise you, I act like myself. I use my emotional intelligence. I read the room. I look at the pictures they have in their offices. I look at the way they're dressed. I look at the food they order. I remember what they tell me. Are they a dog lover? Are they a sailor? Are they a golfer? Did they mention their daughter? Did they mention their wife? Do they have boys? And every time I leave there, I immediately send a follow-up and I say, Dear Danny, not only was it so lovely to meet with you today, but what I really appreciated is when you talked to me about your two daughters. I have to tell you that I'm buying you a t-shirt that says I am a feminist, and I hope you wear it to every one of their events. And I really thought the story about your wife was really lovely. But on a serious note, we need investment, and here's why we need it, and here's why it's good for you. And I would do bullets, literally like 2 bullets why we need it, 2 bullets why it's good for you. And then in the end, I sign it, right? And warm regards. Wouldn't, not, so, but every time, and then I remember. So for example, we had an investor and he was obsessed with a certain type of dog. I mean, obsessed. And so I was at the store in San Francisco called Dumps. They had this unique, one of a kind tree ornament. I bought it, I put it in the mail, and I sent it to him. And he literally called me and said, I cannot believe you remembered. I cannot believe you did that. I didn't even invest in your company. I said, you didn't invest yet. Yet. That doesn't mean you're not going to. And never, ever did I do things. I always mentioned what I wanted. I was shameless about that. And when I did good things, they'll say, why are you doing this? And I said, I'm making a deposit in our future. You're going to be an investor of mine. That's why I'm doing it. And it wasn't like I said, I'm doing it because I'm so nice. I'm Holly Hobby. I'm so nice. No, I'm doing it because I'm more thoughtful and I'm more careful and I'm more disciplined and I deserve your money because I am on top of it. I remember you. And so I wanted them to see, and I always followed up repeatedly, like whether they invested or whether they didn't, right? And my one thing I always said to them is, look, if you put money in my company, if you need to reach me, here is my cell phone. You call me, and if I can't pick up, I will get back to you within 24 hours, if not within a few hours. And unless I'm giving birth to a baby, which I have no uterus, so that won't happen, unless that, you will hear from me. And they'd be like, what? What are you doing? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
But my point is that I asked for a lot of money and I was able to bring in a lot of money. And I promise you, even when investors took a loss, they said, look, you've always been transparent. You've always been straightforward. You've always taken my calls. But I want to tell you that so many women that I meet, they feel like they don't want to overstep their boundary. They don't want to be too emotional. They don't want to be too personal because they think it's too female and too feminine. These guys go out on a bromance and go golfing all day and go drink beers. Well, I'm not going to do that. But my point is that you have to build a relationship. People do things because of people, period. I mean, come on, everybody,
People buy people.
right, they buy people. And women try so hard to be buttoned up and professional that their entire essence and personality just gets whitewashed and people forget about them. They forget why they were there. They forget what they said. They forget it all. So, I don't know.
That comes from your sales background, because that's how you're obviously, your journalistic communications gives you that edge there. But you started your career in sales, like, and for me, I just think this is, to me, it's like it's a no-brainer. All the things that you've said, uh, I do because I'm a salesperson, and love me or hate me for being a salesperson, I'm not going to apologize for it. That's what I do. Um, and a lot of what I've seen of women founders or co-founders or CEOs, they've come either from the scientific side through a bench, through academia. So they've never actually, those that I've seen have had no problem getting funding, have tended to be women that have come from Wall Street. They've they've been in that world where it's, dog eat dog, and you have to go in and make it quite clear what you want. Because as we talked about earlier, if you don't make it clear, you're assuming that somebody understands what you want. And we all know that most of the time they don't know what you want. It needs to be made clear in the right way.
Totally. And you know what else too? After somebody would invest, you can't give opulent gifts. It's not proper. It's awkward. It's weird. So I discovered my little signature. I got to show you. So I would send a little note with a dance party button, and they talk in German. Are you ready? It goes, oh, wait, I got to turn it on for you. Sorry about that. Hold, please. Hold, please.
30-second dance party.
So I'd send them a button that says 30-second dance party with a little note. And I said, when I got your investment, I hit my party button and I danced. And then I'd send them the dance button and they'd be like, oh my God. One, it's funny and it's sweet. And if you want me to send you a video of me dancing to the button, let me know. And only two of them are yes, but my dancing was like crazy. You know what I mean? Like, and they were just like, what is wrong with her? She is mental. But why I say that is a man's not going to send somebody a dance party button. Okay. They're not going to do that. And most of them brought it home to their kids and their kids thought it was hilarious. And then sometimes 6 months later, they'd say, this is a hate note. That damn button is still in my lip room. I want to kill you. And so, but anyway, why I say that is sometimes I want to hug women when they've had such a hard time. And I talk to them and they're so serious and sad. And I think your point is right. It's like, yes, the clinical matters. Yes, the serious stuff matters, how it works and the side effects. Yes, but there has to be a passionate connection that makes it different, because women are best suited to sell from that standpoint. If they can just figure out the right message, we should use it to our advantage.
Yep. And actually realize that it is selling, and there's nothing wrong with it. Maybe I'll set up courses for women and do courses on women looking for investment on how to sell. You can come and be a keynote speaker in that as well.
But the other thing is that I really do. I think part of the challenges has been that a lot of people, because they're fed up and they're tired and there's a saying that what you resist persists. So instead of us complaining about what isn't happening, really talking about why investing in women makes a lot of capitalistic sense is what we have to do better at. We have to do better at, right? Getting away from the emotion of it and getting to the brass tacks of it, of why it matters. But the other thing is that I have found that there have been a lot of philanthropic organizations that do program-related investment. They still want a return, got a donation,
Yep.
but it's a small return to invest in women's health because they realize that women are the glue in these family, the glue in the families, sometimes the companies. So
Yep.
so I think we're getting better. I really do. I think we're getting better. I think there's more investment. I think there's been enough discussion. I think there's been enough women who have risen in a variety of leadership roles. And I really do. I think that we're going to see a lot more opportunity for investing in women's health.
There was a thing on LinkedIn that I saw, something to do with the Catalytic Impact Foundation, and We Will Cure. And they're basically looking for startups that are involved in women's health, early stage startups, and whoever has the best idea or the best product or whatever that they want to do, it stands to get up to $100,000 in a equity grant. So it's a equity investment, which I think is basically what you were talking about a minute ago.
Yeah.
That they can get access to.
I will tell you,
Yeah.
I truthfully am a little bit of a magnet for those startups. Really, it's like, I don't know how I find them or they find me, but there's a lot of really interesting and amazing work being done. And by the way, young girls are being pushed towards STEM, right? Called STEAM now, STEAM. And it's really been fascinating to see all these young girls wanting to really get into pharma and science and stuff like that. It's great.
And for me, the number of younger women that and the incredible things that they've achieved and that they're achieving, and I'm like, oh my god, and I tried to talk to them about something, and I think, actually, you weren't even born when that happened, so I just like, but they're doing such incredible work, and I'm just blown away by some of the stuff that's coming through.
I mean, it gives you so much hope. So I was asked to do a keynote at an event called Women Who Inspire, and it's for 200 young girls, high school girls, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, who have been selected.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they've been purposefully selected for an empowerment day to come. And I'm the opening keynote. Then there's 3 tracks that they can pick. One is like robotics, one is mammal and environmental education, and then the closing keynote is Miss America, who's also in the Army. And
Okay.
so it's giving a fascinating day. And I'm very, very excited. I actually bought a jacket. On the back in rhinestone, it says "Girls Can Do Anything." And so I'm very excited about the jacket. Wait, and the best part, Sharon, I had to buy the sweater as well. So I'm going to take my jacket off halfway through and double down that girls can do anything, because it's on my sweater also. But I'm really honored. So the event's called Women Who Inspire, and it's on March 6th. And then 2 days later, on Saturday, March 8th, I just found out that I was the awardee for Women of Impact for Health and Human Services. And there's going to be an event also where I get an award, and 2 youth leaders are also going to be recognized. So it'll just be a celebration week for me. It'll be great.
Fantastic. And are you able to share any of your keynote speech as to where that's coming from?
Well, yes, by the way. So they are. So I'm actually putting it together right now as we speak. And then we're going to put it on social media. They're going to have it recorded. They said that I can share it. And I'm very excited about it because in part of my talk, I'm showing a video. I went into my archives and I have a video about, I know the term public-private partnership has been overused. I get it. However, in 2009, I started a nonprofit called Women Care Global. And the purpose was that donations don't work. Even for the poorest women, donations are not sustainable because some of these donors only give so much money. And what happens when the money runs out? So Women Care Global created a model, a hybrid model, where we would go in and the poorest of the poor paid a couple of pennies and ones who could pay 50 cents paid 50 cents, but a sustainable model for access to contraception. And we had a real public-private partnership with Women Care Global and Evofem. And the whole video talks about more money, more mission, that money is not evil, that it really allows you to do better good, right? And that it's really, in fact, these handouts that don't work. So anyway, I'm going to get to show that video, which will be fascinating, and talk to these young women about their bodies and how their bodies work, because a lot of girls only find out about it on the internet, which can be scary.
Yep.
So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm excited and I'm putting the talk together, but which is nerve wracking, right? Because I don't have a daughter. I have a son, and girls and boys, as everybody knows, are very different animals. Very different. Very different. Yeah. So, but I'm excited about it because I just always think it's an honor to be asked to speak to young youth, smart girls who want to be empowered. And I just think it's so great because, I came from the school of tough love, and I think a little tough love is good. Not all tough love, but a little bit of tough love, I think is great, because I do think there's been a lot of bull going around like, oh, if you think about it, it will manifest. Okay. No, that's not how it works. Okay. Good old, you gotta do something. Yeah, gotta do something. But anyway, I'm hoping I can get the right combination of, some good hard hitting messages and some fun, and, fingers crossed it'll go over well.
Excellent. And you're not going to turn the lights down low and put music on and
Oh, no idea.
because you might have some parents talking to you.
I literally checked. I'm like, can I say contraception? Can I say birth control? I was like, all right, is that okay? And so yeah, but they said that they said yes, of course, but obviously I got to stay within these boundaries, to your point, because different kids are raised differently. And I joked with them.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm raising, fingers crossed, a gentleman and a feminist. Let's hope. And so it's different talking to boys.
Yes. Yeah, no, it is. I have to be honest, I haven't spoken to many boys in a talking capacity. I have one daughter, and that for me was enough. And had she have turned out to be a boy, I did have plans to search the hospital to see if anybody had given birth to a girl and they'd have preferred a boy. Now, apparently, people pointed out to me that that wasn't legal and you couldn't really do that. But I'm like, if you come to an agreement between two people, that my daughter wasn't overly impressed with. What can you do?
Shocking thing to me, though, now is that not only do kids not learn about sex in school, right? They have very little access to accurate information. So when my son was 12, this was considered controversial. There were this husband and wife psychologists who actually teach sex ed. And I sent a note to all my son's friends' parents and said, look, I'm going to have them come and talk to my son for an hour. I'd love for you to bring your kids. Totally optional. It's a Saturday. Okay. I'm going to give you an example. One little boy, they wrote anonymous questions, and he said, is the way you get twins by having sex twice in one day? And it was like, oh my, and then they said, is there a way to prevent pubic hair? And if so, how do you do it? Because I don't want it. And then, questions that were just, and
Oh, wow.
and then they talked to these boys too about menses and what happened. And every boy agreed that they thought it was so much harder to be a girl, so much harder. So they created a little bit of empathy too, So it was a really interesting program, but all the parents were shocked at how little the kids knew. But how would they know? They're not getting into nothing. So, but yeah, it's definitely different having a teenage son.
But listen, Saundra, I can't believe how much time we've spent. But listen, I really appreciate you taking the time out to spend time with me. It's been absolutely fantastic talking to you. I think you're an amazing woman. And I hope that we can stay connected, and maybe some things that we can do somewhere down the path. And the minute that Flexi goes international, I want to know about it because I can tell my daughter.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so nice to talk with you. You are so fun and lovely and smart. And thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. And we'll speak soon. Bye-bye.
Well, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. She Leads Biotech is brought to you by CNA International USA, a woman-owned boutique search firm based in New York. If you're looking to hire talent for your company or want support in achieving your career goals, please reach out to me at contact@cnaint.com. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. And remember, the success of every woman should be an inspiration to another. So don't be afraid to share yours. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.